the story of two little girls who grew up on the Umatilla Indian Reservation in Oregon. For Shoni and Jude Schimmel, they first picked up a basketball in a reservation tournament, and the game has taken them places they never dreamed they would have gone otherwise. They have inspired a community. Native Americans have driven for hours, come from all over the country to watch them play, stand in the cold for a picture or an autograph. Can their story inspire their team and their community for a national championship tonight?
Well, 5 generations of Schimmels in attendance here, and Doris, because of their hoop skills, very stylish level of play, and the uniqueness of their story, they're hoping to become the female versions of the Red Sox star Jacoby Ellsbury, who's also a Native American, and promote other great athletes on reservations around the country.
Shoni is their verb, so they need her to play well.
Look at our officials tonight. We're ready for the opening tip. Louisville in the red, and we are underway as the Cardinals win it. Playing in their first championship since '09. Of course, old hat for Connecticut into the national championship game for the 8th time. And tipped out of play here just seconds into the championship.
Well, Shoni Schimmel is their best offensive player, and not surprisingly, Kelly Ferris, one of the best defensive players in the country, will draw that assignment.
Emmett from the corner, got it to go, and a nice start, a 3-pointer. You know, Connecticut has been behind only by 3 points in the entire NCAA tournament, their biggest deficit.
Well, obviously, making shots will give a team a lot of confidence.
They're tied up. Possession arrow will keep it on this end.
It is imperative that Jeff Walls' team get off to a good start. It was not much of a contest the first time these two teams met in Big East Conference play earlier this year.
72-58 the final. And in fact, it's 12 consecutive wins for Connecticut over Louisville. But Louisville forces the turnover. Here's Shoni Schimmel. Takes a lot of threes, 283 of them this season. Hammond with a little fall away and around and out. Uconn beating Notre Dame surprisingly easily in a national semifinal, 83-65.
Well, for Jeff Walls, his team has beaten 4 straight top 2 seeds. And one of the things, wow, how about that shot from distance?
Way downtown from Askeda Lewis. The rebound comes out high to Dolson. She knocks it down.
And one of the things you want to watch, obviously, with Louisville is can they continue to play in the moment and not let the weight of the moment affect their ability to play tonight?
Can they continue to rain 3-pointers? They're hitting 45% in their last 4 NCAA games. Smith jumping into the lane. That jumper will be short by Vails, and it's free to Stephanie Dolson, who's playing in some pain, of course. We documented this during the semifinal. Stress fracture in her right ankle. That one will go down by Askeda Lewis, the best 3-point shooter in America.
She is dangerous. She has become a complete, polished offensive player, but that remains one of her best skills. She can shoot it with unlimited range.
So Connecticut jumps into a 5-3 lead. Vails on a high post. Antonita Slaughter, of course, has been the scoring story. She gets her first 3-pointer from the wing, and that rattles out, and the tip won't go. She could not be shooting threes better than she is coming into the championship game. Here's Ferris left open from the wing. That would have been a 3-pointer. Rhea Smith, the 5'10 sophomore, gives it off here for Vails, and she lays it up and in. A well-run break.
Well, you've seen both in transition in that instance and in a half-court set, Bria Smith do what she does best. That is get by people and make plays for herself or her teammates.
Let's get Lewis. Driving it, a little teardrop, one-hander won't fall. Now Shoni Schimmel does something like that. A pass that is a bit on the showy side in every single game. And that play she made with her sister, Jude, the other night, the around-the-back pass in transition was amazing.
It gives her team juice. And listen, she's a high-risk, high-reward passer at times, but I like it. Nice steal.
Dolson picked up by Smith, who knocks it free, and it comes to Caroline Doty. So Uconn a little bit fortunate. Here's Brianna Stewart, who's been so sensational in this tournament. 29 points for the freshman in the national semifinal.
One of the things you'll watch with Jeff Walls, we call him a mad scientist. He did not put his game plan in for tonight's game until yesterday. or this morning at shoot-around, and he said, listen, we need to take away Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis and Brianna Stewart and make other players from Uconn beat us.
Tony Schimmel committed that foul. Tipped away, but Doty, who has survived 3 ACLs, gets it off to Ferris. Shot clock at 14. Ferris with a very tough angle on that, but Stewart collects it and lays it in. And now an official timeout. And Smith is a little bit shaken up here with 16:29 to go in the opening half. Uconn with a 2-point lead in the national championship. Connecticut with a 2-point advantage, and Doris, the officials are over at the monitor taking a look at the elbow by Doty.
Correct. Remember, this has been a point of emphasis for a couple of years in both men's and women's college basketball. Contact above the shoulder, swinging the elbow, and clearly Caroline Doty does that and makes contact.
And Smith went down hard there. Take another look from another angle here. A flagrant 1, the foul deemed excessive in nature. Illegal contact with an elbow above the opponent's shoulders, not swung excessively. Penalty on that is 2 shots in the ball. A flagrant 2 is one involving contact not only excessive but severe or extreme.
I think it's going to be a flagrant 1.
And of course the penalty on a flagrant 2 is a player ejection and 2 shots in the ball. Now Jeff Walls made the request for them to go over to the monitor and take a look at this.
Well, the officials clearly did not see the contact above the elbow, and he has this ability to make sure they're paying attention to it. And obviously when Bria Smith hit the deck and stayed down, of course he's going to make that request.
Now they can take a timeout away from him here. 16:29 to go in the first half. Let's see what they elect to do. So this is at Coach Wall's request. And Smith definitely went down. How much contact, if any, there was? That's the thing they're trying to pick up here. So they are going to call it a flagrant 1. It will be a flagrant.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It was not excessive because Caroline Doty was simply trying to make a basketball play and create a little separation from her and her defender.
So flagrant 1 foul, 2 shots and the ball for the Louisville Cardinals. Pretty good foul shooting team at 70%. Uconn's been off the chart shooting them in the tournament at 87%. And they're going to bring Antonita Slaughter, their best foul shooter, to the line for 2. She hits 86%. So it'll be a foul on Caroline Doty. Caroline is not typically in a game very long. She is a 5th-year senior. She's been starting, more of a symbolic, maybe calming role than anything else. She's quickly out anyway in a few minutes.
So many injuries. How about the okey doke by Antonita Slaughter trying to step up and shoot those free throws?
Smith going to the line here. Walls told Slaughter to go to the line. She couldn't suppress that grin. So instead it's Bria Smith shooting it. She was the one that got fouled.
So a terrific start by Louisville. This is a team that's entirely different from the one that faced Connecticut earlier in the year. They're playing so confidently, so loose, so free. And I think it started with the Baylor game. He told his players, go ahead and shoot 43s. That lifts any kind of reservations you have about taking shots. And a nice entry pass to get Sarah Hammond to look inside.
Hammond draws the foul. She'll go to the line here. The personal on Kelly Ferris, her first. Hammond is one who has to stay out of foul trouble herself, which has been a career-long problem for her. She was not only recruited by Connecticut. At the line and drops in the first one. She made the long trip, bringing her parents to campus just so they could figure out how long the drive was.
Yeah, her parents wouldn't let her fly to Storrs, Connecticut. They decided to say, okay, if you want to go, it's a long way for us to come and see every game.
Out of Mount Vernon, Kentucky, eventually deciding on Louisville over Uconn.
And already we've seen multiple defenses. This one an extended half-court trap, just making Uconn a little bit of passive pressure to make them use some clock.
Hartley straight on, but too long. Louisville up by 2. Smith with a kick out and a whistle. A shove in the lane with 15:53 to go. And the Louisville Cardinals, what an amazing run it has been. And they have to love their start tonight.
I want to win the championship for this team just to prove everyone wrong.
We do belong here, and we've worked so hard to make it here.
It takes an entire team to reach the pinnacle of success.
Man having an awfully good week. Well, here he is. Rick Pitino made history himself last night as the Louisville men won the national title. They're attempting tonight to do it. Has been one time in the history of the game accomplished. 04, Uconn made history. Men's and women's titles, Emeka Okafor. That was in 2004. And the same year, Diana Taurasi defeating Tennessee 70-61. Connecticut winning their 3rd consecutive title and 5th overall.
And that was on the strength of one of the greatest players and greatest winners in women's college basketball history and women's history in general, Diana Taurasi.
Inbound for Hammond and gets the easy 2.
Well, just excellent execution. And Jeff Walz is an outstanding tactician on both ends of the floor. He asks his players to do an awful lot of thinking defensively. They will switch defenses based on number of pass, which side of the floor their opponent goes to.
Barris with the scoop in the lane. It won't roll in. Rebound up, and that's no good. Another scrap for it. Getting very physical. Hammond has to bounce it to a guard, and Shoni Schimmel. Slaughter deep in the corner. She's had an amazing tournament. Here's Hammond again. Really feeling it when she's taking shots out there.
You can see what Louisville wants to do. They'd like to get up and score as quickly as possible.
Stewart high off the window and draws the foul. So she'll be at the line to shoot here with 15:05 left in the half.
Connecticut is one of the toughest defenses to score against in the country. Jeff Walz said a couple things. We've got to make some threes, no question about it. We've got to get into transition, space the floor as much as possible.
Slaughter picks up the foul as Stewart knocks down the first one. Monique Reed will check back in, the senior from Louisville. And another one coming for Stewart, who makes 78%. She has had some run in the NCAA tournament. She's averaging 20 points a game in the tournament, shooting 55%. But it's Louisville on top, 11-8. Smith had a very difficult semifinal with a lot of turnovers. She turned it over 8 times. On the rebound, up and in by Reed, just into the game.
Well, you can see they are going to a ball screen, and that means Stephanie Dolson is being asked to guard in that situation. And with those injuries, it is impossible. And Bria Smith is attacking her once they get that exchange.
Dolson swings here for Jefferson, just in. And she's off target. They'll get a second life. Morgan Tuck tries the reverse and lays it in. She's played some big minutes for them.
I'll tell you what, her nickname should be CC, cool customer, because she doesn't play like a freshman.
Louisville in their second final in school history. Uconn turns them over. They beat them the first time. Jefferson lost the handle, got it underneath. Tuck had it blocked by Hammond from behind. And here's Shoni Schimmel. Uconn right now playing with 3 freshmen at the same time. Smith draws the foul. Dolson got her.
What do you notice? A couple things here. Louisville is keeping the floor spaced. Gina Auriemma's team did such an exceptional job against 2 of the most dynamic guards in the country in the national semifinal. Skylar Diggins and Kayla McBride were not allowed to get into space and operate and take advantage of great one-on-one skills. The spacing for Louisville, Dave O'Brien, has been exceptional, and this young woman is capable of taking advantage.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Bria Smith got some exciting texts last night. Peyton Siva texted her about 4 o'clock this morning after they celebrated their championship and said, "Get one more." Russ Smith is a friend of hers as well. They grew up together in New York City, and he texted her, "Go get it." There's been a lot of support back and forth. I talked to Peyton and Russ today on the phone, and they said, "We told them when it's hard, keep your head down and dig in." They were down by 12 last night. They want their women to have that same resilience tonight.
The women had to overcome a 10-point halftime deficit to California. And that's after operating in prosperity in the regional semis and finals. They had huge leads on both Baylor and Tennessee.
Both of the Schimmels now on the floor at the same time for Louisville. Jude Schimmel, the sophomore, the younger sister, on the floor as well. A lot of pushing and shoving, and a foul here. That was with 8 on the shot clock. Well, the first gold major of the season tips off Thursday on ESPN. Bubba Watson returning to defend his championship alongside Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and the rest of a star-studded field at Augusta National. ESPN 3D will have coverage of all 4 rounds. A foul will go against Sarah Hammond, her first, and Stewart goes to the bench for Gina Auriemma. Hartley picked up the dribble. Ferris, the senior, into Dolson and knocked away. She's finding it very tough to maneuver close to the rim.
Well, they are switching defenses. That's a 2-3, but their communication in it is excellent.
Dolson with a spin. Got a good look. No. Ferris kicks it out. Here's Tuck with a 3. And once again, it's Louisville with the basketball. And here's Schimmel. Look at that handle. Straight on for a 3, but not there. She is so exciting to watch in the open floor. Bria Hartley, the pull-up 16-footer, and she knocks it down.
When Bria Hartley is confident, that is the shot she goes to over and over.
Walls calling out a play. Jeff Walls has overcome a very serious childhood stuttering problem to become one of the, I'd have to say, more gregarious college basketball coaches. A big steal here for Hartley, and she will lay that in on the other end and tie it at 14.
We talked about the difference in Brianna Stewart's confidence level. That is another player right there. Bria Hartley, who has had her struggles, but is at her best point in this season.
Shoni Schimmel with a long one and missed badly there, but it came right to Hammond. Could not finish that. Tapped 3 times and controlled by Mosqueda Lewis. Tied at 14. Little leaner. Mosqueda Lewis draws the foul, and she'll go to the line. An and 1 for the talented sophomore.
Connecticut has so many options on the offensive end. 5 different positions can score regardless of who is on the floor. In this particular instance, it's the best shooter in the country, showing she can do just a little bit more than that.
Back in Orange, 11:58 to go here in the first half. A tight one. Connecticut with a 2-point lead. We were talking about Jeff Walz in his 6th year as the head coach.
Well, you were touching on this just prior to the Bria Hartley steal, sort of how to turn our attention away, but the stuttering problem he overcame. And he told us a story about, and everybody can remember this, you're in elementary school, all of your classmates are sitting around in a circle, Dave O'Brien, and you're reading out loud, and everybody gets one paragraph. And he said he would sit there because of that stuttering problem and be counting out the number of paragraphs, absolutely terrified that he was not going to be able to get the words out. He was riveting, and when you look at his 6-year record relative to Gino Auriemma's, it's very comparable. That is a young, handsome, well-spoken, charismatic guy who can flat out coach. So if he can get the recruiting ball rolling, you better look out.
A 7-0 run here for Uconn, as you see over the last minute plus. Smith trying to take that baseline, sealed off by Dolson. She's on the line. Stephanie Dolson came over. That's 4 turnovers. But you look at them over the first 6 years, it's a fascinating comparison. Awfully close.
And remember, this is a Louisville program that will be headed to the ACC.
Hartley for Ferris in the corner. Kelly playing in her last game in a Uconn uniform. Stewart got it up there, hit it, and in the act of shooting a 3, she'll go to the line. It's been that kind of tournament for that kid.
For the last 2 weeks, as we've watched Connecticut practice, all of their sets, the ball wanted to find this young woman. It's amazing when you get the most talented or one of the most talented players on the floor who's on a roll, how that ball finds him.
Monique Reed committing to personal 6 for Stewart. She's missed a couple of foul shots, so should be having an even better first half. Connecticut by 6. This is their biggest lead.
And remember, this is a Connecticut team that can spurt you right out of the game. They have got to keep putting points on the board. Jeff Walz said it. They've got to score at least 75 to 80 for one of the best offensive opponents they'll face all year.
Smith, 17 points in the semifinal against Cal. Shot clock down to 2. Smith fires a long 3. A scrap for the rebound in the corner, and Uconn comes away with it. So right now, all the momentum belongs to the Huskies. Trying for their 35th win of the season. They have never lost. Gino Auriemma a perfect 7-0 in national championship games. Stewart, catch and shot, got it, all net, a two-pointer. And right now, Jeff Walz is telling his kids, we got to find a way to stop her, or she's going to get 29 in the title game. She is cooking 22-14.
Connecticut understands who is playing the best basketball. So you run sets designed to get Breanna Stewart a touch. Yesterday at practice, they went about 3 or 4 minutes. They were up and down the floor. And Gino stopped the practice and said 7 straight offensive series for the team in white, and it never found Breanna Stewart. He said that will not happen tomorrow night.
Most points by a freshman in a championship game. This is since 2000. She's at 89 right now. Look at the name at the very top of that list, Maya Moore.
She right now is averaging what you said, 20 points per game. That would be a freshman record for the Uconn Huskies. And that's a program that has generated some of the biggest stars in the history of women's college basketball.
Hard not to notice it was Brittany Griner at the bottom of that list. 10:25 left in the first half. Now Louisville throughout the tournament has been able to answer time and time again. Shoni Schimmel really airmailing that shot. Is Ferris in transition. Backdoor cut, Mosqueda Lewis, but it's not there. Dolson fighting for the rebound. She draws the foul. Tough to take it away from Stephanie Dolson, named an All-American by the Women's Basketball Coaches Association. Jude Schimmel with her second personal. And here's Hartley to set it up. Ferris. Stewart really commanding the ball too, something she wasn't doing very much early in the season. She gets another entry.
Well, you're exactly right. Excellent patience. The ball moves side to side. That allows the duck in by Breanna Stewart. Already the versatility of her game on display. She can stretch it to the three-point line. She can post up. She can go off the dribble. There's not a thing on the offensive end Breanna Stewart can't do.
Shoni Schimmel on the drive. No. Harassed every time she gets close. And here comes Connecticut again, building on a 10-point lead. Hartley on the penetration. She's bumped and fouled on that play with 9:21 left.
Now watch Breanna Stewart. She is an incredibly long player. She's just working for interior position. The backside of that zone with Shoni Schimmel there, that is a mismatch. So you can create mismatches in a zone just as easily as you can in a man. And you talked about it. Sarah Hammond couldn't afford foul trouble. Jeff Walz's team is not at full strength. You think over the course of this season, you lose Shanta Dyer, Tia Gibbs, Asia Taylor. It would have been nice to see these two teams square off against one another if he were fully healthy.
Jude Schimmel will sit now with 3 personal fouls, so she's in deep trouble. And quite emotional at the moment as Hartley makes that one. Louisville scoreless since the 14:44 mark. Slaughter has not been able to get on track. Neither has Shoni Schimmel. Look at the defensive pressure by Hartley into the backcourt. Shot clock is down to 9. She just got it across half court. Smith trying to slice in, denied. A clean defensive stop. Hartley with a spin. Shoni Schimmel went down. Hartley with a kick. Mosqueda Lewis nails the 3. 29-14 and another timeout. And right now that's the only way Louisville can stop Uconn. It's with timeouts.
It's the patented Connecticut spurt. This team is one of the toughest to score against. They push up into pressure. They get exactly what you want. You're askew and they're on fire.
For her, that feels like all day to shoot it. And Uconn fans know she needs absolutely no opening, such a quick release. So 29-14, Louisville 0 for their last 12 against Connecticut. As far as wins and losses, 12 consecutive defeats. And the first time they played him, the only time they played him in January, Brianna Stewart didn't even play in that game. We're collecting the best photos around the women's tournament from athletes and fans. Go to ESPNW.com/tourney photos for more of the best athlete social photos throughout the tournament. Louisville trying to get one of their star shooters to put it in the bucket. Slaughter trying to take command and banks it in off the window.
That's a terrific move by a terrific player. But if you're going to rely on that kind of individual effort all night, that is a tough road to hoe.
Smith nearly stole it away. Approaching 8 minutes to go in the first half. Uconn has been impressive. Ferris from the corner. Around and out. Shoni Schimmel down the open floor. Dinas kicks it up top here. Slaughter again through the lane. They're expecting her to back out and shoot threes. She's carving them up in the lane.
Well, just excellent recognition. Uconn is putting so much pressure on it. Makes an individual play and gets in a little bit of space.
Over the top. Stewart again. They leave Ferris wide open once more, and she'll nail the three.
That's the difference for Kelly Ferris this year as opposed to past years. She does not hesitate to take shots.
Hammond in the lane. Nicely done with the left hand. But you're talking about Kelly Ferris. All she has done is win 4 consecutive high school championships in Indiana. And she's been in 4 Final Fours at Connecticut. So that's 8 Final Fours. Tipped in by Stewart.
Wow. I'll tell you, Stewart is an unbelievable athlete. I would love to have seen how close to the rim her fingers were on that tip-in.
Shoni Schimmel. Stewart with the rebound. Well, Uconn playing with great energy, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Smith absorbing that shot. She went down. So under 7 to go in the half, and it's Uconn by 14. In the national championship game, and Uconn up by 14. Holly Rose standing by with Jeff Walls.
Well, Coach Walls, you got off to such a strong start, but then Uconn goes on a 19-0 run. What was going wrong there?
Well, we just rushed a lot. I mean, we got some things going well. We got some really nice shots starting off the game. And then all of a sudden, we just started to panic a little bit. We started dribbling the ball. And then they started executing, too. They made some big shots. We have to figure out a way to get them out of the paint. 'Cause, I mean, they're spending a lot of time in there, and it's really hurting us. We got to get them out. They're scoring a lot off of second chance points, and we knew that was something we had to limit, so we're going to have to do a much better job of that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, Holly, thank you very much. The score went from 14-10 Louisville on a 19-0 run, then it was 29-14.
Let's remember, this is a Connecticut team that forces 19 turnovers, and they make almost 11 steals per game. And I think you think back over the 7 national championships in Connecticut's history, you generally associate them as the best offensive team in the country, and rightly so. But the reality is Connecticut is one of the staunchest, toughest defenses to score against. And the reason Louisville is sped up is because Connecticut is applying tremendous pressure.
It has been ferocious, and it's been all over the floor. Louisville with the basketball, trailing 34-20. Smith looking for that baseline of the kick out, but on the line and turns it over. 5 turnovers for the Cardinals. Of course, they made an astonishing 16 3-pointers in that epic upset of #1 Baylor in a regional semi. Mariah Jefferson. Mosqueda Lewis. There's a whistle, foul. That was away from the basketball. And a foul will go against Mariah Jefferson.
Well, watch Breanna Stewart. You're going to see a young freshman do something very few women do. Watch how far up she is and how close to the rim those fingertips are. She has the wingspan of a player 7'1". And to be honest with you, Dave, she hasn't even figured it all out yet. She is just scratching the surface, and look at her numbers already.
12 points, 4 rebounds. Took a shot on the shoulder in the national semifinal. It does not seem to be affecting her very much. I'm not sure if she's feeling any pain at all the way she's playing. There's a strained ligament. Hammond up top. Here's little Shelby Harper into the game. All of 5-4 officially. Certainly not afraid to shoot it, but tipped out here by Uconn. Caroline Doty will come back in now, and Jefferson will take a seat. Caroline seemingly has been in this program for 15 years.
Even she joked about how long she's been here.
Teammates think of her as a 35-year-old. She's been through so many injuries. Harper up top. Doty picks her up. She gave up the dribble there. Hammond was hot early, but she has certainly cooled down. And tipped out of play by Ferris with 12 on the shot clock. And the Schimmel sisters scoreless so far in the national championship. And Jude on that bench with 3 fouls.
Well, how many times have we seen Connecticut in their history take away your best option to score? Not only take you away, but even if you get shots, you shoot a significantly lower percentage than you're accustomed to. You've got to be able to play through frustration if you're a star opponent of Gino Auriemma, because he's going to make you win in ways you're not comfortable winning.
Louisville's got to get a shot in the air. Shot clock at 4. Hammond. There's Stewart again to deny her 2 on the shot clock. Just 2 seconds to shoot now. Stewart had 4 blocks against Notre Dame in the semifinal, so she did everything for Connecticut. Got to get it up quickly. Hammond's able to beat the shot clock buzzer, but did not make the shot. Uconn looking to build on a 14-point advantage. Elena Mosqueda-Lewis. She's an All-American as well. Stewart down the lane, off the window. That won't drop. And knocked out of play with 5:15 to go. It'll stay on this end.
I think Stewart was stunned she didn't get a foul call. And think back to December 2nd when they play Maryland and then Penn State back-to-back. That's when things went wrong for Breanna Stewart.
Mosqueda-Lewis with an open look and a 3-pointer off the nice hustle by Breanna Stewart to keep it alive.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Breanna Stewart faces Maryland, Penn State. They are so physical with her that she gets in her head that she can't compete at this level. So it takes her about a month and a half to get out of that funk. Well, guess what? She's out of it.
Now on the other end, clamp down defense again. Uconn harassing Louisville every time they touch it. And a 17-point advantage. The steal by Slaughter. Fourth time Uconn has turned it over in the opening half. Slaughter so quiet after a very noisy tournament to this point, and that's a held ball. Possession arrow will keep it here with 4:27 to go.
Wow, that's a quick whistle on a held ball. I thought that was just a great block shot by Brianna Stewart.
Exactly what Gino's saying.
No question.
So Shoni Schimmel to put it in. Most outstanding player of the Oklahoma City Regional.
They can't. The whistle can't change because of the disparity in score.
Slaughter buries a long distance three. Well, they've only hit 2 of those in the opening half, but this one cuts it back to 14. Tuck, good look. Not there. Stewart down the lane. 2 more. She came out of nowhere to spare that rebound.
6'4" with tremendous athleticism and great instincts.
The difference, she's playing with tremendous confidence now. That has not been the case all year long. Certainly the ability there. Hammond can't get it to go. Both Smith and Mosqueda Lewis went out of play on the other end. They are now getting into the frame. Ferris trying to feed underneath. It's tucked for 2 more. And Uconn is carving up Louisville.
They're just getting anything they want at this point. If they don't score off the initial shot they take, they're doing an excellent job on the offensive glass.
Now it's been a tough night for Jude Schimmel. So 3:15 before halftime. And perhaps it can't come soon enough for the 5-seed Louisville Cardinals. Here's Doty. No one came out to guard her. Shoni Schimmel. She has been totally shut down by the Huskies so far tonight. 0 for 6 and finally knocks one in. Had been scoreless to that point. Now she's very capable of having a monster second half.
No question about it. She scores in bunches in a variety of ways, off the dribble drive or from distance.
Stewart blocked by Hammond. Nice clean play there by Sarah Hammond.
Well, when Brianna Stewart started to struggle in December and it continued into January, Gino Auriemma said she's going to have to figure it out. I've got games to win. Well, Stewie, you've got it figured out, young woman. 6'4", unbelievable athleticism. Dad, Brian, yes, that's my daughter. That's pretty good.
leads Louisville 41-25 all game. We've been talking about the transformation of Breanna Stewart. How do you know a confident player? It's one who seeks shots. Against Louisville's 2-3 zone defense, Breanna starts to go away. She sees a little space, comes back to take the shot. Doris, this is a kid. Earlier in the season, she shied away from that. Now, demanding the basketball.
You know, she's done such a good job moving without the basketball, but you're right. You have to want to be in this moment, and clearly she is ready for it.
14 for her, as we showed you, the most by a freshman since 2000 in the NCAA tournament. 5 on the shot clock. Ferris gets a good look and drains that one, a three-pointer. So not only are they dominating in the paint, they're dominating outside.
Well, they'll set a record for threes made per game and threes attempted in Connecticut history. In fact, they win tonight. They will shoot fewer free throws than any of their national championship teams have.
That's a traveling violation on Slaughter, so no basket. Antonita Slaughter is frustrated as any of the Cardinals so far. Connecticut, meanwhile, 6 out of 14 from beyond the three-point line. Now, Gino Auriemma talked before the tournament started about his team coming together. This was the best he saw them. Here's Stewart again. Got it. Three-pointer. She can't miss. That kid is absolutely on fire. What a tournament.
And when she was struggling, it was because she was putting so much pressure on herself. She came to Connecticut as Doty gets another strip here. She comes to Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? She could be the best ever. Well, she's playing like it.
Guess who's open? Draws the foul. She beat everyone to the other end.
Well, her last two, but again, she's seeking opportunities. She spaces to the weak side of the floor, gets right in her shooting motion pretty quickly. And remember, you know, I know she struggled, but this is a young woman who's standing at the free throw line, who's been on multiple USA basketball teams. She has been in big games before.
1 for 4 at the line, and she has 17 points. That's the most points by a Uconn freshman in a championship game. The 18 that she has right now, and still about 90 seconds before the half. Man, you talk about taking advantage of the big stage. She has done that. Breanna Stewart. Shoni Schimmel gets the shot in the air, short. Rebound tipped and controlled by Stewart. So coming up on 1 minute, and a dominating effort by Connecticut in the opening 20 in every phase. Stewart again looks for that shot once more, and it's off target. Slaughter hoping for a little bit of life here, and a foul. As Bria Stewart went hard, she'll go to the line to shoot 2. And coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report, Maya Moore live on set, where she was a dynamite freshman in her own right. And a first half breakdown all coming up at halftime. Foul here will go against Stokes. It'll be number 1. Smith 64% at the line, rattles in the first one. Sharon Vails coming back on, 6'4" junior. Not a big scorer, and the Cardinals need scoring. So 5 points for Bria Smith.
There's Maya Moore, and that young woman was the epitome of a student athlete.
Stewart battling for it, shoved aside. There was no foul there. She may have been shoved right onto the baseline by Vails. Slaughter, nice dish for Hammond, lays it in.
Good job by Slaughter using the dribble. We're accustomed to seeing her stand on the three-point line of space to make long-distance jumpers. And Gino Auriemma going to use a timeout here.
With 16.5 to go in the opening half, 48-29. Breanna Stewart has been a highlight package throughout the tournament and again in the national title game.
Well, she's talented, and once she stopped battling herself, all of her skill set came to bear. Here she gets fouled on the three-pointer. She gets it squared so quickly. This time she recognizes a mismatch, gets the duck in. And what can you do with a 7'1" wingspan? Well, you could be a pretty good shot blocker. The mid-range game, yeah, that's there. Offensive board it, go ahead. 7 of 11 with 6 boards already for Breanna Stewart.
Did not even play against Louisville when they squared off back in January because of an injury problem. Louisville wishes that script had followed suit. So she has been tearing them up inside and outside. 18 points, also 7 rebounds for Stewart. Oh, by the way, a very good passer. Shot blocker. Caroline Doty here. Chance for one more shot for Connecticut. Elena Mosqueda-Lewis. Doty. Back to Mosqueda-Lewis. Blocked out of the sky by Smith. Got it back and fired. Barely nicking that rim. And that'll do it. Halftime of the national championship game. And Connecticut is rolling ahead 48-29. Let's go to Rebecca Lobo here.
Shoni, you are down 10 to Cal in the semifinal game. What do you need to do personally and as a team to overcome another double-digit deficit?
I mean, just as a team, we got to come together as a collective team and go out there and defense. I mean, defense is going to win this game, and we just got to go out there and rebound. I mean, that's our main thing, and then our offense will come after we get our defense going.
All right, thank you. Holly?
I'm with Breanna Stewart. And Breanna, you didn't play in the last meeting against Louisville. What did you figure out that you can do so effectively here?
I think just really keep moving. I mean, going inside and outside, that's just hard to guard in general. And if I keep doing that, I think Louisville's going to have a tough time guarding it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Holly, Rebecca, thank you very much. Connecticut heading for their locker room here at New Orleans Arena and feeling awfully good about an 8th national championship because they have Breanna Stewart. 48-29 at half as we go to Kevin Agandi for the Northwestern Mutual halftime report.
Huskies are trying to find her. They're getting to her. She's got the hot hand. She's got the confidence. She's got to keep rolling with it.
18 points already in this game for Breanna Stewart. She is the star offensively for Uconn. For Louisville, their star, Shoni Schimmel, just 2 points, and she had to wait 17 minutes to get that bucket.
That Uconn defense is swarming, and they're everywhere. They're protecting the paint. They're locked in on Shoni Schimmel, not allowing her to get free looks at the basket. They're making other players be playmakers, create off the dribble, and it's not what they're accustomed to. Breanna Stewart had all the Showtime highlights in the first half, but this is why the Huskies are winning. It's because of their defense, and it has just taken the air out of the Louisville offense. We talked about how loose Louisville was, how free and easy they were playing. Nothing has been free, nothing has been easy in the first half. Uconn has made them work for everything. A pass, a dribble, shots, rush shots, and the three-point attack that we talked about, that was the reason what carried them through the tournament. They're struggling from beyond the arc as well.
They hit 16 threes against Baylor, tying a women's tournament record, and you see a lot of red here, guys. 10 of 30 from the floor, just 2 of 9 from the three-point line. Can they get back in this game?
It's going to be tough. I mean, the deficit is so large, and it's not like UConn's defense isn't playing as well as it's played all season long. I think this is too big of a deficit. Louisville's going to have to hit a barrage of threes in the second half to cut in.
It's going to be the three-point shot that would have to pull them back into this ball game, and they're also going to have to find a way to stop the two main players that Jeff Wall said he wanted to stop, and that was Stewart and Mosqueda-Lewis. They haven't done a good job of that yet.
Stewart already passed Maya Moore tonight for the most points by a freshman in the tournament since 2000. Oh, by the way, guess who's here waiting on the side? Maya Moore, one of the best players in, of course, the WNBA. She will join us as we continue here at the half. Brianna Stewart, 18 points, the lead at 19 for Uconn.
Welcome back to the Northwestern Mutual Halftime Report.
"10 minutes ago, we heard a loud round of applause. I thought it was just because of us." No. Maya Moore joins us here, one of the best players in the country. We do appreciate you taking the time to join us. And what do you think of this performance, the first 20 minutes from Uconn?
They had a little bit of a rough start. I thought it was slow, maybe some jitters, the finals, but boy, did they turn it on after that second media timeout. Brianna Stewart has been unbelievable, and the way they've been just playing with confidence is really fun to watch.
It's amazing when you turn the brain off and you just play, and we're seeing that from Brianna Stewart. 19-0 run, she scores 7 points. Speaking of points, you know a thing or two about putting it up and scoring points. Through the years, you left the game, the college game, as the 4th leading scorer all time. In that time, we have seen a couple of players come in to the game. Brittany Griner bumping you down. Elena Deladon bumping you down. What do you think of that and their impact on the game, the college game, the last couple of years?
It's really just a pleasure to be able to, have competed with and to watch those players really blossom and perfect their offensive game. Those two players that you just mentioned are so unique in the women's game and in basketball in general, and to see them just grow and watch Brittany get better and better and Atlanta just dominate this year was really fun.
Maya, you watch Brianna Stewart, and this has kind of been a coming out party for her in the Final Four, but she certainly had her ups and downs, as a lot of Uconn freshmen do. What is it about Gino Auriemma in terms of allowing you to grow, but making sure that he's tight with his discipline with you as you're early in your career?
Well, now that I've graduated, I've been able to learn some of his tactics. Now that I'm gone, the light bulbs come on a little bit. But during the year, he pounds you, he pounds you, he pounds you. And if you're a great player like me, like Brianna, like some of the other greats, you're very hard on yourself as well. So you have his pressure, you have your pressure, and sometimes it just gets to you a little bit. But when the tournament starts, he kind of eases off and he starts to, put even more confidence in his players, and that's when you hope that they spark, and that's what Brandon's doing.
The Uconn program has won 7 national titles. And Gino has said to his team, you get me there, and then I can get you the championship. How does he turn that on to get the most out of his players to secure the deal in the final game?
Well, he's got so much experience, and that's something that I appreciate, and I know his players appreciate. You just trust him. You trust what he's teaching you. You trust where he's brought you. You trust your teammates and what they've invested in the season. And by that time, you're the most confident team out there. And that's what it comes down to with the tournament is who's the most confident, who's going to play the most fearless. And, with him and the assistant coaches and phenomenal freshmen like Brianna, it's just really fun to play well in the tournament.
We have video here of showing you cutting down the nets. He did it in 2009, 2010. He's 20 minutes away, Gino Auriemma, winning his 8th national title. Yeah. He's played it off a little bit, but he could tie Pat Summitt in Tennessee for the most titles. What do you think this would mean to him?
Honestly, I don't really. Coach has won so many things, and I really think that he's just happy that the players are playing well, that they're growing, that they're having a spark at the right moment. I mean, obviously it's going to bump him even higher than he already is, and of course he's going to appreciate it. But that's the one thing about Coach is he's always thinking about other people and thinking about his team and how to help the game grow. So all of that will be accomplished if Uconn wins today.
Maya, we do appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Enjoy the night. Right now, Uconn in complete control, 20 minutes away. They have a 19-point lead. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, one of the big stars for Uconn. She has 12 points in 18 minutes, including 3 threes. Second half coming up. Thank you.
This halftime report is presented by Northwestern Mutual, proud to be the official financial planning partner of the NCAA. partner of the NCAA.
20 minutes in the books, and UConn's offense clicking on all cylinders. Bria Hartley, 10 minutes of action, 6 points. UConn 20 minutes away from another title.
The NCAA Women's Championship is brought to you by Ford Service. For big rebates on brakes and tires, see your Ford dealer.
Championship presented by Capital One. Second half coming up. A lot of work to do for the Louisville Cardinals. UConn firing on all cylinders. It's been sweet music to Husky fans around the country. Look at the first half stats. Everything in Connecticut's favor and everything in Brianna Stewart's favor. What a half of the freshman. 18 points. She sets the freshman scoring record in the NCAA tournament. She does that in 20 minutes in a national championship game. Oh, look at her shot chart.
Well, one of the things Louisville talked about was taking her out of the middle of the floor. This is her shot chart over the semifinals and tonight, and clearly she is getting to what you call the pro alley, that key area from the lane line extended. And one of the ways they have done that, Dave, is Connecticut's offense has been really good. They've had great player movement, great ball movement, and great screening action.
She's taken 11 shots. A freshman for a game in February, that's a lot of shots. This is a national championship game.
And just a month ago, an uncertain freshman who wasn't sure exactly how to affect the game. Well, it's amazing the difference a confidence can make because she's at the top of her game. This is the player Gino Auriemma told us was coming to UConn, who he thought could be the best ever in his program before all was said and done.
She is living up to that. Now, this was a ball game in the first half. In fact, Louisville had a lead of 14-10 with 13:52 to go, and they were in pretty good shape. That's when UConn went on that long run, 19-0 over 5 minutes. It just blitzed them.
Now, I think if you're Jeff Walls, you've said to your players, listen, let's just take this in 4-minute segments and try to win each 4-minute segment.
Galena Mosqueda-Lewis also had a good half. She had a dozen and was 3 for 6 beyond the three-point line. Louisville made only 2 out of 9 from outside that three-point line. And of course, that's been a big part of their success in this tournament, hitting those. Hartley with a line driver in and out. And Louisville begins the process of trying to cut down that lead. Can they get back in it? Hammond with a 2, hits it.
You know, she came into tonight's game with only 6 made threes on the year, but she looks confident and capable of making that shot.
Dolson swings it. Another open shooter. Ferris got it, a 3-pointer.
Well, that's just exceptional. We talked about their offense. Exceptional screening. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis just screened that post player on the bottom side of that defense and allowed her teammates such a clean, uncontested look.
Ferris having a good final as well. Shoni Schimmel drops in a 3. They need a lot of those, and she's been so quiet tonight, only 5 points.
Uconn went under the ball screen, which is shocking against Shoni Schimmel because she'd prefer to pull the trigger. She's a better driver than in the past, but that's what she prefers to do.
Shoni, such a creative, freewheeling, fearless player, but the threes keep on coming.
Well, 2 straight screens by Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis.
Kelly's mom and dad here from Indiana. They don't know anything other than a season ending in the Final Four for their daughter, be it high school or college. The bounce into the lane and a quick 2 there for Sharon Vails. 54-36. Stewart taking the baseline. Collects her own miss and missed that one too. It's probably been a couple of weeks since she missed 2 in a row. Shoni again. That one missed badly. And now Ferris. They're bringing numbers here. 3-on-2. She'll slice through. Can't connect. 17:41 to go the other way. Let's check in with Rebecca.
But Dave, I talked to Louisville coach Jeff Wells at the half, and he asked him what he told his team, and he said, we have to just try to get back in this. In order to do that, we're going to have to scramble. We're going to have to pick up in full court. It could get ugly, but that's what we need to do, is get out in the full court. And he said, you know, Connecticut's not only shooting great, their defense is so good. They're making my kids play to their weaknesses.
Goes with a miss, but Hammond, who's rebounded well in the game, denied. Ferris again hits the deck, and now tie up. The possession will make sure it's on this end. How many times have we done a Connecticut game and we've said that? Kelly Ferris hits the deck.
You know, it's extraordinary the way she affects winning in such a quiet, understated way, Kelly Ferris.
6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals.
Constantly takes the opponent's best scorer, sets screens.
The dish again. They find Vails again for 2 more. She may be the target here in the second half because Connecticut won't be thinking about her. Not a big score. Rolling in Dolson, and she's fouled. Stephanie Dolson will go to the line. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, I caught up with Coach Oriema of Connecticut at the half, and he said, you know, I'm worried about Shoni Schimmel in the second half. I know her personality, and she's going to try to win this game single-handedly in the second half. He said it will be upon senior defender Kelly Ferris to pay attention to her. He said the problem, she throws up all kinds of shots, and some of them go in. He's worried about her hook shot, her creativity, and he thinks his senior defender can shut her down.
Slaughter with the foul. Dolson makes the first. Stephanie Dolson, a 6'5" junior. It could be a reality show unto herself with all of her personality. She's been so much fun to be around. All of these Final Fours for Connecticut, trying to win their 8th national championship. And just lost out of play by Bria Smith. They cannot afford that.
Well, she's not a natural point guard. Let's remember, the last 22, 23 games, they've asked her to move to that position to take some pressure off of Shoni Schimmel. There was so much weight and responsibility on Shoni's shoulders that they make Bria play the point guard, though she isn't one. Her turnover numbers at times reflect that.
Mosqueda-Lewis in the paint, knocked away. Good stay-home defense there by Slaughter and company. Schimmel over the top. Vails has it knocked free, and here come the Huskies again. Rhea Hartley with the look away, lays it up and in. That was a pretty play.
I'll tell you this, if you allow Connecticut to get out in transition, they're going to put 100 on you.
58-38. Smith thought about the 3. Gave it right back to Stewart. They've turned it over 11 times tonight. So 16 minutes left in the national championship game. Connecticut sitting pretty here in New Orleans. Mosqueda Lewis with a kick. Stewart gives it right back. Ferris a three. She got an excellent look. She's missed a few of those tonight. Schimmel around the back. Tremendous ball handler, but she gives it away. Here's Hartley in the open floor, and she'll knock it home. Biggest lead of the ball game here for Connecticut, and a timeout Louisville. And the Cardinals making a lot of mistakes here.
And Uconn capitalizing. Kelly Ferris at one point didn't want to shoot the basketball. She said, my idea of being unselfish didn't always get us where we needed to be. That means she has got to be a willing and able scorer. In the past, it was 5-on-4. Kelly Ferris is 15 minutes and 36 seconds from a national title.
New Orleans, where Connecticut leads Louisville by 22 points. Holly Rowe did the report talking about how concerned Coach Auriemma is with the play of Shoni Schimmel. Connecticut's defense has been focused on her all night. First, Kelly Ferris is on her. When she goes off the screen, Connecticut quickly switches. They know they need to stay with Schimmel no matter where she is on the floor. But the most telling thing, ball on the opposite side of the floor, the defender's head is not even turned, staring right at Schimmel. They know how important she is to Louisville's offense.
And her numbers reflect that, Rebecca. Jude and Shoni have combined 2 for 11. Shoni has taken 10 of those shots. And listen, you can switch 1 to 4 with the lineup that Louisville has on the floor many times.
Up top, Hammond cuts loose a long one, but it's not there. And Uconn so quick into the offensive zone. They are relentless on the offensive attack.
Yeah, they'd like to score in transition. That's the 7th rebound for Kelly Ferris. So 12 points, 7 boards, and she is doing a terrific job defensively as well.
Entry pass knocked away from Mosqueda Lewis. Jude Schimmel lost that, but she's fouled on the play with 14:53 left in this contest, and Connecticut leading 60-38 over Louisville.
phones, I'm with a gentleman who had a pretty good evening last night in Atlanta, Rick Pitino. He told me he hasn't been to bed yet. And Coach, you don't have your voice, so thanks for doing this interview. But what has the last 48 hours been like for you?
It's been great. I wish we were a little bit closer here. I'm a big fan of our ladies, and they're just running into a buzzsaw with Connecticut. Connecticut can't miss. And this is one of the best freshman lady basketball players I've witnessed.
Brianna Stewart. Yeah. Coach, I know that you were able to speak to the team in their pregame meal. What was your message that was important?
You know, I just told them you've had a great season. Don't think about the championship. Focus on beating Connecticut. And sometimes you focus on the prize and you lose the game.
I know that you guys were down in your game last night. How could they be resilient right now in this moment?
Well, the only problem is we're a pressing team, and pressing teams can come back. They're really not a pressing team, and they're giving up a lot of threes right now. That's the difference in the game.
Well, thanks for your time, and get that voice back and then get some sleep, Coach.
I think sleep will help.
Thank you.
You certainly earned that. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate that very much. Knocked away to Jude Schimmel, and here come the Cardinals. And straight uphill, obviously, done 60-38. Slaughter's three is off the back of the iron. And those are shots that they've been hitting throughout the tournament. They've not been hitting them tonight. Although they did in the opening seconds, and at one point led 14-10. But they made just 3 out of 14 beyond the arc this evening. Hartley leaning in. That's going to be an offensive foul on Bria Hartley. And her 4th personal. Hey, Thursday at 4:30 Eastern, it's the Frozen Four getting underway in Pittsburgh. Yale and UMass Lowell squaring off in the national semifinals in ESPN2. Follow every championship at NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. Now, Brianna Stewart so far has not scored in the second half. She has 18 in the game. Here's Reed from 3. Got it.
That is a young woman who has battled through injury, because as a sophomore, she was an 18.9 rebound per game average and looked to be on the verge of just something really special in the Big East Conference.
Mosqueda Lewis got tied up in a backdoor cut. Shoni Schimmel with a quick pass. Her sister Jude from the corner. Yes, a 3 and some life finally for the Cardinals.
Well, as Coach Pitino alluded to, Connecticut had made so many threes. They average over 8. He's going to use a timeout because back-to-back threes has him within 16, so he's going to just make sure his troops are refocused. And if you are Louisville, this can be a little like Baylor, where you say, take as many threes as you want. That gives your guys a chance to know, listen, I can shoot them, it's not going to matter, make or miss. So you let it fly quickly. Back-to-back threes, one by Monique Reed, one by Jude Schimmel. And Coach Pitino, who is one of the first guys to make use of that three-point line. Yeah, I like what I see.
Now, the Cardinals certainly do not lack for inspiration. Obviously, the men's championship team, #1. The coaching staff has been teaching them all about Muhammad Ali, a Louisville native who shocked the world when he defeated Sonny Liston. I've also been showing them the ESPN 30 for 30 about NC State's 1983 championship run. The great show, Survive and Advance. They've had a tremendous run of their own, but will it end here tonight?
Louisville in his own. You're just starting to wonder, when is the last time Brianna Stewart touched the ball?
And there she is now at 21. Another 3. Stewie, as her teammates refer to her.
I mean, obviously, your natural tendency is to relax when you have that kind of cushion. So a good timeout by Gina Auriemma.
Dolson to get back in the game for Coach Auriemma. Reed off to Hammond. Shot clock down to 10. She lets fly, and that one missed. And she went down. Tossed out of play, however. A sloppy, rare sloppy moment for Connecticut.
You know, Brianna Stewart has had very few sloppy or poor moments. Just spaces to the three-point line. Again, you see the activity. One player on Uconn goes to the ball. That draws the nearest defender, and then she just spaces out to an open area.
Out of Syracuse, New York. And look at this. Connecticut, 10 three-pointers made, 1 away from Stanford's record in 1990 in a championship game. Stewart went down as that one was knocked free.
Boy, sure did look like a foul right there. looked like she was on the arm.
Should have been some whistle. 12:02 left. She was the National High School Player of the Year, the most sought-after player in America. Coach Auriemma landing her and saying at the time she would be maybe the best player ever to play at Connecticut. She is living up to that in the most important games of her young life. Thrown away, however. Uconn turns it over with 11:50 to go. We're going to talk with Gino Auriemma when we come back to New Orleans, where Uconn has a sizable lead in the second half. National championship game, leading Louisville 63-44. Let's go to Holly Roll with Gino Auriemma.
Well, Coach, a few minutes ago, you gave your team kind of a recipe in the huddle to not allow a comeback. No threes, no second chance points, and no fouls. How are they doing so far on that?
We're doing great down there. What I forgot to tell them is pass the ball to my guys and stop throwing the ball away. It's unbelievable what we've just done in the last 5 minutes. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless.
That never happens. Coach, tell me how you can get Breanna Stewart even more touches down the stretch. She seems like she's in such a good place.
We can't get her touches because we don't have any. We can't run offense because we're throwing the ball to the other team. If we just come down, right, and take our time and make 3 or 4 passes, she's going to get all the shots she wants. We just got to settle down. Jeez, oh man.
Thanks, Coach.
Understanding, he's up 19.
Yeah.
Not down 7.
Well, let's be real. You know, we have watched over the last several weeks a lot of programs practice. There is a distinct difference when you step in the gym and the Connecticut Huskies take the practice floor. Every cut is done with precision. Every drill is done as hard as you can possibly go. There is a standard of excellence that he is asking his players to meet. Chris Daly is associate head coach, who has been there every step of the way as they've won 7 national titles, and he's engaging her right now, and she's heard it all before. You know, they have basically said, we don't play to a score, we play to a standard.
Well, they only turned it over 6 times in the first half. You can see why he's a little upset. 8 turnovers already in the second half. But they're completely dominating the game despite this flurry of turnovers in just the last few minutes. Shot clock down to 8, and a theft by Ferris.
Chris Daly will tell you, Dave, that Gino Auriemma's need for perfection is his greatest strength and at times his greatest weakness.
But he never coaches to the clock unless you're talking about the last possession. Clock and score, as far as that goes. And this team is And a lot more go right, obviously, and there's a nice swing inside for a quick 2. Well, Stephanie Dolson, we haven't called her name all that much tonight. She has 6 points, but they really haven't needed her so much as an offensive threat. Jude Schimmel will lay that one in for 2. 65-46. Certainly Louisville can't be thinking about trading baskets here with Connecticut. With 10.5 to play in the national title game. And the Huskies that close to an 8th championship. Ferris tears that one away, got it free. Shot clock is at 8. Jefferson penetrating, dishing. Here's Dolson for 2.
Well, pretty play, but I mean, I think they're letting some contact go on both sides. That I think you got to continue to blow the whistle when a foul is committed.
Jude Schimmel nearly gave that one up. It landed in Reed's hands. Here's Slaughter, who's been such a big star. Ferris with another steal. She is everywhere defensively. Kelly Ferris lays it in.
This is a player who is averaging well over 2 steals per game. And gets another one there.
Well, the last game of her Connecticut career, and she is going out in style.
12 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and now a steal. We're making her 14th point off this particular steal. We have said it. She has played in the Brittany Griner era, which means she hasn't won the National Defensive Player of the Year. She would if she were in any other era.
Big East Defensive Player of the Year, over 1,000 points. And the most improved player in the Big East this year.
And it's interesting that she played for her father. And in AAU basketball, her father absolutely refused to keep a scorebook. He said kids can get a false sense of security when you just value points. And so she has learned to value basically every other aspect than points per game.
Kelly in her 4th consecutive Final Four. And closing in on a national title, 69-46. So anytime there has been even a hint of a comeback for Louisville, the Huskies have snuffed that out. Shoni Schimmel takes a little bump. That shot won't go. That's a shot she's made throughout this tournament. Here's Jefferson, the freshman, slings the pass to Mosqueda Lewis and drains the 3. She has 15. Shoni in the lane for 2.
Love how hard they're playing. I mean, they are not quitting.
Ferris breaking that pressure. Well, you heard Rick Pitino talk about they're not a pressing team, unlike his men's team that can press their way back into games. 72-48. Dolson. Mosqueda Lewis so open. I mean, you can't leave her open like that. She will hit that all day, and that is the record for 3-pointers in a championship game. Reed trying to wriggle free, can't connect. Dolson for the rebound. So now it becomes a question of just how many points Connecticut is going to score.
Could see the reason Jeff Walz came into the basketball game believing, as you see the championship 12 threes, believing his team was going to need to score at least 75 or 80. I mean, this team is so gifted offensively. You got 4 double-digit scores already.
Fast on the other end is Jude Schimmel. 3.77 GPA. She received a National Academic Award here on the court the other night during the national semifinals. And before going out, Jeff Walz said, "Here, let me give you a hug, congratulatory hug." And she said, no, my hair's perfect. Leave it alone. She's a tremendous student.
She also said she was more nervous to make the walk out to center court than she was for the national semifinal against Cal.
Well, they've had a great year and a marvelous run, but Connecticut has overpowered them tonight and now lead by 27. Playoff position at stake for ESPN's NBA Wednesday doubleheader at 8 o'clock Eastern. The Celtics trying to stay afloat in the East. They will host the Nets. Then at 10:30, the Nuggets looking to improve their playoff position. They host one of the top teams in the West in the Spurs, and you're heading for Boston.
Well, we simply can't escape one another. You'll call the Red Sox, I'll be on the C's game.
Be just a couple of miles apart there. That's on NBA Wednesday coming up tomorrow night. So just under 8 minutes remaining in the national championship game. That girl indeed is on fire. Brianna Stewart, 21 points. She was already the outstanding player in the Bridgeport Regional. Now in the Final Four, she's been tremendous as well. Maybe even better. Jefferson banks in two, and they're getting everything they want. 79 now and counting. Schimmel way downtown. And they're one and done. Now the talent for Connecticut is certainly rising, but they are playing better now than they have played all season.
No, there's no doubt. Gino Auriemma at one point told us it was the worst coaching job he had done. Wow, that is a hard foul.
Stephanie Dolson went down really hard. Getting some help up. We'll take another look at a nasty foul.
Wow, that could be excessive. That could be a flagrant foul. I don't care what time of the game it is. I don't know that I would call that a legitimate basketball play.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn double miles you can actually use.
Officials are going to make this a flagrant one. Take another look as Dolson really got hit.
Denise Brooks is your baseline official. It didn't look like she was initially going to make this call. She waited to confer. She's right there. And it was like she waited to confer. I thought it was obvious.
I'm not sure what she was waiting for. They never did go to the monitor. They eventually called it a flagrant one, which is 2 shots and the ball. That's a foul deemed excessive in nature. A flagrant 2 would be severe and extreme. So they did not rule across that line on Reed. Dolson will be at the line, 79% foul shooter, and she's coming back for her senior year as an All-American. Let's check in with Rebecca.
Well, guys, one simple message from Jeff Walz to his team in that last huddle was keep playing hard. He said it probably about 10 or 15 times. Then he said, keep pushing. We are going to keep fighting. We are going to keep competing. There's 7:17 left. Have fun and continue to play hard.
I think this guy also is someone who expects his teams to compete at all times, regardless of score. I know they're at a huge disadvantage here, but this is a matter of pride in your program.
A loss here tonight, and he's still looking for that first career win against Connecticut. He'll fall 0-10. Jefferson off the handoff and fouled as she goes down.
And if you're an opponent in women's college basketball next year and you're looking at the returnees of the University of Connecticut, boy, you better watch out. I know Kelly Ferris is their defensive stopper and a huge part of what they've been able to do. But Brianna Stewart's just figuring it out. Gino Auriemma told us last week in Bridgeport at that regional that he believes Stephanie Dolson will be even better next year. And he said a huge jump. Mariah Jefferson's going to be better. Bria Hartley might remain healthy. Morgan Tuck is exceptional.
And she's really come of age in this tournament. Tuck has.
Brianna Banks was having her best season in a uniform until she got hurt. She's not a bad dancer either.
Apparently. Slaughter in the lane. Little teardrop not there. And not a good night for her shooting the ball. Another foul with 6:52 to go. Catch the Frozen Four's second semifinal when St. Cloud State and Quinnipiac meet in Pittsburgh Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Follow every championship at NCAA.com.
You lose Caroline Doty and Heather Buck. And Caroline Doty, it would have been nice to see that young woman's career play out had she been healthy. I said the same thing about Monique Reed. Doty was a true point guard with pass-first skills, but an ability to make shots as Dolson gets a 15-foot jumper. But she might go into coaching, so Doty may not have seen the last of her basketball career.
Not there for Shoni Schimmel. Nice save on the baseline by Smith, however. Rhea Smith in tight for two.
Yeah, and she'll get better at the point guard spot. I know I've talked about her struggles at times with turnovers, but boy, a hard driver, difficult to handle when she gets ahead of steam. She's got to develop her perimeter jump shot, Bria Smith.
Good size at the point, too, at 5'10". So many reasons for Louisville to look at this season and be very, very proud of themselves. An incredible run to the NCAA championship. Hartley with a three, and they keep pouring on those threes. Uconn has hit its last 10 shots in this game. The steal by Dolson. And they're not letting up. 87-52.
Gino Auriemma made Bria Hartley pull that basketball out. He's going to use some clock here.
The most points in a championship game is 97. They can certainly reach that. Hartley back up top for Tuck. Here's another three, and they finally miss one. Been an outstanding shooting night. It's been a great night all the way around for Connecticut. Laid up and in by Vails. Approaching 5 minutes to go. And the Uconn Huskies, the #1 seed, ranked #3 overall in the poll, about to win their 35th game of the year and another national championship. It will be #8. And that would tie Tennessee for the most all-time. And a great Pat Summitt. John Wood, #10. And don't you get the feeling that that's the one for Gino?
Well, he said yesterday that the #8 did not matter to him. I'm not sure that's true. Think about this. When he was on that incredible win streak, I think it was 90 straight, he was carrying a book of John Wooden's around. And I believe in my heart, you know, provided he stays for the contract extension he just signed, that there's at least 10 national championships in his future.
So many of the disciplines of Coach Wooden he has taken to heart and put into his program. You know, the discipline his team plays with, period. Although his kids still have fun. And John Wooden's players always said that. Here's Hartley off the fake. She fires. So another championship just 4 minutes away for the Connecticut Huskies. And once again, they will ascend to the throne. Jude Schimmel off the front of the iron. It tipped out high to Slaughter. She'll shoot it. It's amazing to think that Gino Auriemma at one point said he felt this was his worst coaching job because all the buttons that he would typically press and it would work, he's been pushing those buttons this year. He didn't feel like they were working as well.
He also said 70% of what he's done to get this program in its current position don't necessarily work with today's student athlete.
But his bar is impossibly high as Dolson misfires. And Shoni Schimmel, who is a junior, so she's coming back next year. She's become a star in this NCAA tournament.
Listen, Louisville is going to be a major factor in women's college basketball. They're going to return those 3 players who have been hurt. Obviously, they'll lose Monique Reed, but this team is going to be a big-time opponent.
Slicing in, a very easy 2 for Stewart. 23 points for Brianna Stewart. And under 3 now, the Uconn faithful. And there are a lot of them here in New Orleans for an extended stay. They didn't pack for just one national semifinal. They packed to be here a while. And they have barely been enjoying the city. And a timeout. Connecticut takes one here with 2:37 to go. And Gino's going to go to his bench. They'll bring in Heather Buck, the senior, among others. 2:37 to play. Gino Auriemma shared with us some of his childhood memories.
Well, growing up in Italy, we don't have a TV. We don't have a phone. We don't have heat, electricity, DVR. We don't have any of that stuff. No car. I never saw money. I didn't know what money was. All the clothes I had, my mother made them. If it wasn't running around in the backyard, we didn't eat it.
And his mom is here tonight, Marcy, Gino's mother, looking on and about to celebrate another national championship with her son.
Well, before Gino Auriemma arrived at Connecticut, 0, 20, or 30 win seasons, no tournament appearances, and obviously you can imagine no Final Fours and championships. I was a player at Providence when he first took over. And before his arrival, it was simply a win you chalked up. You were going to play Connecticut. They were the patsy of the Big East. On both the men's and women's side, I remember Rick Pitino saying when he took the Providence job, he thought that Connecticut was a sleeping giant. The giant has awoken.
Farris with a shot clock down to 1, hits it. She has really had a fine last national championship.
Offensively as we've ever seen her. She was relishing this last 40 minutes. Kelly Farris is going to go out as she should, a national champion.
can begin big-time celebration here in New Orleans. 91-56. Kelly Ferris has been just superb in the national championship game, hitting shots. She's played spectacular defense. Open threes, she's made those. And usually across the board, she'll have a statistic in every single one of the important columns.
Gino Auriemma, as she comes off the floor, how about this for an embrace between coach and player? And he said there is no better representative of all of the things we value than Kelly Ferris, and that's what that hug and moment was about.
16 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals for Kelly Ferris tonight in her swan song at Connecticut.
You know, in a day and age of social media and self-promotion and reality TV shows, Kelly Ferris conducts her business with a humility and commitment to team that most coaches should show to the people they coach. Understand what's important. It's not about the me, it's about the we, and that's what Kelly Ferris is about.
Great teams in sports have a Kelly Ferris. Everyone's got one, it seems. If you get to this level where you are the king of the hill, where you are #1, you've got that player who does a little bit of everything and never wants to take any of the credit.
Correct, and you need one of those, but you also need some big-time stars. And Connecticut's program does not allow for selfishness, but it does allow for superstars.
Here's Heather Buck, the senior, to lay it in. She's from Stonington, Connecticut, and in a championship game, she gets a bucket, and her teammates react as if she's hit a three-pointer at the buzzer.
Dolson up and off her feet and waving her hands.
That's a wonderful moment. Dinas, that one barely nicking the iron, but up and in for Hammond.
So how about this? In the final year of the Big East Conference, as most people understand the Big East Conference to be, they will win both the men's and women's championship.
Indeed.
And I know Dave Gavitt has passed away, but somewhere you got to believe there's a Manhattan in his hand, a smile on his face. He's commanding the room. And Dave Gavitt, coach, if your conference had to go away, this was the way to do it.
Indeed. Turns out Dave Gavitt had even more pull than we thought. And he had a lot. 40 seconds to go. 93-60. The first golf major of the season teeing off Thursday on ESPN. Bubba Watson returning to defend his championship alongside Tiger and Phil and the rest of a star-studded field at Augusta. The Masters first and second round coverage Thursday and Friday at 3 Eastern on ESPN. And Connecticut half a minute away from another national championship, but this one gets them even more history. It will tie Pat Summitt and Tennessee for the most all time. And this will go down as the largest margin of victory in a championship game. It's great number 8 for Uconn. The Huskies have won a record-tying 8th national championship. Connecticut brings the title back to Storrs in 2013. And Doris Burke, this is what you call total victory.
This is the University of Connecticut that prior to the Big East tournament, they were wondering if they could beat conference foe Notre Dame. Well, redemption in the semifinal, domination in the national final.
Rick Pitino had a glorious moment last night. He tried to bring some of that magic from Atlanta to New Orleans, but in the end, the Huskies were like a steamroller. 93-60, again, the largest margin of victory in finals history. Gino Auriemma has never lost in a national championship game. He is 8-0. So it's official. They have tied Tennessee and Pat Summitt with 8 national titles for each program. Let's go to Rebecca Lobo at Brianna Stewart.
Expectations were sky high for you coming into this season. What is this moment like for you to lead your team to a national championship?
Oh, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is what we thought about since the beginning of the season, and now to finally be here and actually win it, it's a great feeling, and I don't think it's going to set in for a while.
You're a much different player than we saw a month ago. What changed for you in the postseason?
I think I just really played really confident and stopped thinking. When I second-guess myself, nothing good comes out of that.
All right, Brandon, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, 23 points. Look at her, folks. 9 of 15 shooting. Brianna, 9 rebounds and 3 assists, and a new star is born for Connecticut. Seems to be a new one every year.
This is a program that has generated some of the biggest stars in the history of women's college basketball. Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore. Wow.
And this is what the legendary Pat Summitt had to say about Gino Auriemma and Uconn.